Hello, everyone out there joining us for this next segment of our virtual relay event entitled Helping Farmers Make Better Decisions. My name is Stephen Zebiak, and I'm the leader of the CCAF's flagship program on climate services and safety nets. Now, just to remind you all, our session today accompanies the launch of a flagship report entitled Actions to Transform Food Systems Under Climate Change, which we encourage you all to access and download via the link that should be displayed lower down on your screen. So, what do we mean by helping farmers make better decisions? We start by recognizing that smallholder farmers throughout the world face real risks to their livelihoods and well-being due to an increasingly variable and changing climate. In our session, you'll learn about some of those challenges. But you'll also learn about how farmers can anticipate and manage climate-related risks and make better informed decisions using available climate and advisory information. But right now, I want to introduce Mr. Brighton Kaoma, who will serve as host for the remainder of our session today. Brighton is a Zambian social entrepreneur, climate change activist, and sustainability communicator. He holds a Master of Public Administration in Environmental Science and Policy from Columbia University. Brighton has been recognized by Queen Elizabeth II, President Barack Obama, and the World Wildlife Fund for his work on climate action across the African continent. We're delighted to have Brighton to facilitate today. And with that, Brighton, over to you.
Thank you so much, Steve. Really happy and excited to be here. And thank you so much to all the viewers that are joining us. Please stay tuned as we have very exciting news and information for you today. I will dive right into it and have an interview with Steve. And Steve Zebiak is the leader of the CCAF flagship program on climate services and safety nets, which is hosted at the International Research Institute for Climate and Society at Columbia University. So Steve, I would like to kick it off by asking you to elaborate on what climate services are.
Sure. Well, I don't think it would be a surprise to most that climate services involve providing climate information to users, in this case, farmers. Climate information, though, can take many forms, from long-range weather forecasts to outlooks for the coming one or more seasons ahead, or even historical patterns. It usually involves rainfall and temperature, but sometimes goes further to address risks of, for example, delay of rainy season onset or flooding or heat waves. Now, climate services may involve information, but they involve much more than that. In fact, we've come to an understanding now of climate services that involves provision, but also translation, transfer, and use of climate information in better informed decision and policy making. So translation addresses the common problem that often meteorological information produced by experts may not be understandable or usable to farmers in their own practice. There's a need to recast the information in accessible language and in a relevant decision context. Services that fail to provide appropriate translation are likely to find few, if any, users. Transfer refers to the process through which information and advice is disseminated to users, including, of course, farmers. This may include a variety of mechanisms, from bulletins to SMS, voicemail messages, online platforms, radio and TV media, or peer-to-peer mechanisms involving, for example, agricultural extension services. You'll hear about many of these later in this program. And finally, use. Services that are not used, regardless of technical and institutional investments they may represent, have no real value. Including use as a part of climate services is significant, as it requires genuine engagement with farmers and intermediaries and an honest process for evaluating and ultimately improving services.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was a very elaborate background. I'd like for you to also quickly elaborate more on what are the key ingredients for successful climate services for farmers?
Sure. A few points stand out, I think. Over the past decade, we've seen a lot of projects and programs either piloting or implementing or evaluating climate services for farmers. From this collective experience, we draw a number of lessons. Without exception, successful services are user-oriented, in this case, farmer-oriented. What does that mean? Well, it starts by being consultative. Up front, the first questions that should inform services are, what are the problems being faced and managed? What decisions need to be made? And then, what information could effectively inform those decisions? Information providers cannot deduce this on their own. Engagement with farmers, extension services, and other intermediaries is the only answer. So in the business, we speak of co-production as a model, by which we mean an ongoing process of collaboration and two-way communication, through which needs can be identified, tailored information developed, and ongoing feedback obtained to continually improve the services. Also, delivery channels are key. We've learned that no single outlet for climate services is sufficient, and the best approach is for services to be delivered through multiple complementary means to reach and assist the widest possible audience. And finally, if we aim to promote equity in climate services provision, then we must give special attention to the issue. For example, given that the circumstances contributing to access and use of climate services varies by gender and social status, these factors must be addressed directly in the design and delivery of services.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was very insightful. And you have elaborated thoroughly on what climate services are and their relevance and ways through which they can be made very effective. I also understand there are many other pathways of strengthening climate information within Colombia and different countries. And already we have seen also at Columbia University, we have the initiative on communication and sustainability, which is helping in so many ways find pathways of strengthening climate information. But also we are seeing different partners that have joined us today who are going to elaborate more and explain to us how they're using different climate information and services to promote the well-being of farmers in different parts. And if you're just joining us, you are watching our interesting session, helping farmers make better choices. And we are really excited that you've created time to be with us today, as we shall continue to bring more exciting speakers as the conversation and the launch of the report goes on. Some of you would like to participate in our live polling, and we're going to introduce an interesting quiz to understand people's perception of some of what we are talking about. And I would like you to download the WHOVA app, which is WHOVA app. And upon your downloading, I would like for you to answer the question. In Sub-Saharan Africa, there have been a lot of efforts to involve smallholders in digital agriculture. As of 2019, how many farmers and pastoralists have access to digital climate information services in the region? Is it A, 11 million, B, 33 million, C, 66 million, and D, 99 million? As you answer that question, we're going to watch a short video so that we can hear firsthand about the experiences of Rwandan farmers with climate services. Stay tuned.
Nta nyungu nagiraga mu buhinzi bwanjye, narahingaga nkarumbya kuko sinajyaga nita ku mihindagurikire y'ibihe, sinari nzi gutandukanya kumenya kujera cyangwa se kwitwara neza mu makuru y'igihe n'ikirere. Ariko ho narahingaga nkarumbya imyaka, amafaranga nashoyemo agahomba, ngahorana ubukene, nta mitiwere, simbone mitiwere ku bana, abana bakabura minerivare, simbashe nanjye ubwanjye gusagurira isoko. Ariko bizi saha tugezemo nabashije kugira amahirwe maze kubona amahugurwa, naratangiye mbona inyungu.
Mu mwaka wa 2016 ngira ngo twabonye amahugurwa yatanzwe na SIAT ku bijyanye n'imihindagurikire y'ikirere.
Ngiye rero nkiva mu mahugurwa narishimye cyane, numvise mu bumenyi nari mfite bwiyongeyeho. Naraje nkivayo ntangira gukoresha ubumenyi mpawe, ntangira kubanza cyambere mbanza kureba imbuto zera vuba nkurikije iteganyagihe zakwera muri aka gace turimo. Maze gusarura naragurishije, tubanza kuvugurura iyi nzu kuri ayo mafaranga. Nkurikizaho mpinga inyanya nkurikije iteganyagihe, kuko muri rya zuba twashakaga ikintu cyera vuba kikarwanya iryo zuba, umuntu akuhira bikera vuba. Inyanya zeze twaguzemo inka. Ubwo rero twakomeje kuzamuka mu ntera.
Kubera nahawe amahugurwa nsigaye nyeshyira mu bikorwa nkurikije ibyo bambwiye, n'ubutona ama message ya buri gitondo kuri telefone, tukabasha gukoresha ayo makuru duhawe. Iyi nzu yanjye nta masuku yari ifite, murabibona hano hari ku mukungugu, none murabona maze gushyiraho agasima n'amasuku inyuma, urabona kuko biri kose ndumva nishimira kubwo gukoresha amakuru y'igihe n'ikirere.
Nahise ngurishamo ibigori ubutaka bwo guhingamo, irira n'umwana mu ishuri, nishyura na mitiweri.
Aka karima karatandukanye n'aka ngaka, aka ni akatugisa twagahinze dukoresheje ifumbire mvaruganda n'imborera. Noneho duca n'utu duserege tugiye turimo two gufata amazi, turahindukira turasasira.
Nyuma rero yo guhugurwa hari byinshi navuga byahindutse, kuko twabashije kumenya gusesengura amakuru ajyanye n'iteganyagihe, noneho bigatuma dufatanya n'abahinzi tukajya inama, noneho tugafata ingamba y'icyo tugomba gukora. Mbere abahinzi bajyaga bakomeza kureba ikirere ko imvura izagwa, akaba aribwo batangira gutegura ubutaka bwabo, ariko ubu ngubu bamaze guhindura, bategura ubutaka mu gihe cy'impeshyi, mu gihe cy'izuba, noneho ahubwo igihe imvura iguye akaba ari umunsi wo gutera. Icyo ngicyo ni ikintu cyahindutse kandi bose bamaze kumenyera.
Iki gihembwe cyangendekeye neza, ntabwo uko byagenda kose ntitukigira ntibikidutera impungenge, ntibikidutungura, kuko dusigaye twaramenye gukoresha neza amakuru y'igihe n'ikirere.
Thank you so much, and I'm hoping that you did enjoy the video showcasing how farmers in Rwanda are benefiting from climate services and information. For those of you that took part in the quiz, thank you so much, and the answer is B, 33 million. So in Sub-Saharan Africa, there have been a lot of efforts to involve smallholders in digital agriculture, and as of 2019, there were 33 million farmers and pastoralists that had access to digital climate information services in the region. And I'm so excited to also bring in my next guest, and this is Moussa Senge. Moussa Senge is Deputy Partnerships Manager of the 1 Acre Fund, a social enterprise that saves more than 1 million smallholder farmers by supplying them with financing and training they need to grow their ways out of hunger and poverty. Moussa, welcome. And
thank you very much.
I would like to kick this off by asking you to elaborate more on how participatory processes, in particular PICSA, is being used in Rwanda regarding climate services.
Thank you very much, Brighton. Yeah, thank you for having me here. Jumping to the question you've asked, PICSA is a participatory integrated climate services for agriculture. And what that means for a smallholder farmer, it means providing a structured participatory communication approach for farmers to really understand how the season will look like based on the historical climate information that are provided by Rwanda Meteorological Agency, the onset and the offset of and the cessation of the season. And this is really empowering farmers to know when to grow. It is really crucial for a smallholder farmer to know when to grow, what to grow, and how to grow. Because if 1 acre farm, for example, is producing made in Rwanda hybrid maize seeds, a smallholder farmer will always need to know how the climate will look like so that they can make a decision on when they are supposed to be buying seeds. So PICSA, coming back to PICSA again, it's really an empowered tools that allows farmers to meet together, because PICSA put farmers at the center. Farmers meet and they decide based on the historical information that they have, thanks to the Rwanda Meteorological Agency in partnership with the Rwanda Climate Service for Agriculture Project, to really decide what to grow. And this is done way before they start buying seeds and all the fertilizer and start planning for their season. And this is really crucial for Rwandan farmers, because we are talking about a landlocked country that has one of the most highest density population in Africa, if not in the world. So a farmer is really key to have the information when it comes to knowing when is the season going to start and when it's going to end.
Thank you so much. And I understand in Africa, and I believe in Rwanda, radio, which is one of the most inexpensive forms of communication, does have a lot of impact. So what are radio listening clubs and how are they being used in Rwanda? So I'd like for you to just speak on what radio listening clubs are and how they're being used in Rwanda specifically around.
Yes. Thank you very much, Brighton. We've already said that PICSA is a face-to-face tool that empowers farmers to make decisions when to plant. But radio, as we know how powerful it becoming for the smallholder farmers. Now we have partnerships between the Rwandan Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources. We have the implementing agents of the Rwandan Ministry of Agriculture, which is RAB, the Rwanda Meteorological Agency, and the local community radio that has 70% coverage in terms of listenership. And then we have at the grassroots, at the village, farmers who are forming clubs so that they can be able to listen to radio. But by listening to radio, we mean listening on what or how the climate will look like in 2 months, based on the historical information that are provided by Rwanda Meteorological Agency. And the good thing also about the Radio Listeners Club, which is now more than 225 in Rwanda, benefiting to more than 110,000 farmers across 30 districts of Rwanda. The good thing about that is that farmers in the clubs can even provide a proposal in terms of what are the topics to listen for the next week. Because we're talking about 3 times per week, farmers meet in a club to listen to what are they supposed to know in terms of climate. So this is really crucial. I'm talking about also another experience by One Acre Fund where we are marketing seeds and fertilizers using radio. It's because radio is becoming powerful, and using it to ensure that farmers are aware of the climate information is really key, so that they can be able to make decisions that will improve their lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Moussa. And in summary, how would you say these methods have benefited the farmers that you work with?
Thank you very much, Brighton. We are talking about more than 110 smallholder farmers. Yes, the road is still a long way to go, but those farmers are now able to make decisions on the key crop to plant and when to grow the crop. So this is huge because they are even the PIXA methods. It's using the Rwandan agriculture extension system that allows farmers to really be empowered to be given information that are allowing them to plant well, pest and disease management, and post-harvest techniques. So PIX is coming into that nutshell to provide that additional and crucial information related to climate services and climate information.
Thank you so much, Moussa. I really appreciate learning about what One Acre Fund is doing in transforming the lives of farmers. Thank you. It's been really nice learning from you, and wishing you nothing but the very best in your work with farmers in Rwanda.
Thank you very much, Brighton. Thank you.
Thank you. Right now, I'm joined by Diana Giraldo, and Diana Giraldo works at IAT, which connects climate information with the agriculture sector for decision-making in Latin America. She's also a PhD student at the University of Reading. Diana, welcome.
Thanks, Brighton.
You are doing very interesting work at IAT, and I'd like for you to start by just telling me what are the technical agroclimatic committees?
Yes, Brighton. I'm very happy to be here to share with the audience our work in the Technical Agroclimatical Committees, MTAs, Mesas Técnicas Agroclimáticas in Spanish. It's a successful transition from pilot to scale. The Agroclimatical Committees born in 2014 with 3 MTAs in Colombia as a pilot. And now, 2020, we have 35 MTAs in 10 countries in Latin America. The Agroclimatical Committees is a dialogue process among a diversity of local institutions, public, private sector, government, academia, NGOs, researchers, grower associations, exchange agents, and farmers seeking to understand the expected changes in the climate in the region, how can affect their crops, and what they can do to reduce the negative impacts. This dialogue is used to generate an agroclimatical bulletin where, for example, the agricultural agents are benefiting from better understanding and through contributing to the translation of climate information into a concrete agricultural recommendation. In other words, Brighton, the MTA is like the tandem concept. Riding a tandem bicycle requires coordination, collaboration, and communication between the riders to get to their destination. And in 8 years of working in climate services for agriculture, there are more than 260 institutions involved in the technical agroclimatical committees in Latin America. And the MTA destination, Brighton, is help farmers to make better choice under the context.
Thank you. You've slightly talked about the reach of the technical agroclimatic committees. I would like for you to quickly tell me more about the reach and benefits of these technical agroclimatic committees.
For sure, this is very important because through monitoring process have resulted in more than 330,000 farmers being able to access agroclimatical information to support planning and decision-making in their crops. Last year, after conducting the outcome harvesting, 140 changes were identified as a result of the MTA's implementation in 4 transformation areas. Brighton, briefly, the first transformation area, the information is now understandable and connecting through the MTAs, where the confidence of the stakeholders, organization, and farmers in local climate information has been strengthened, leading to better integration in the decision-making process. Also, our partner IRI, International Research Institute for Climate and Society, work in enhancing the skills of the meteorological service where the MTAs are implemented. The second transformation area, national and institutional policy change. Here are the 3 important and relevant milestones. First, the MTAs are part of the NDCs in Colombia. Honduras signed a ministerial agreement for the MTA establishment, and MTA is now as a part of the regional strategy for disaster risk management in the agricultural sector and food and nutrition security in Latin America and the Caribbean. And the third transformation area is knowledge democratization with the MTA participants, with farmer groups. And finally, the fourth transformation area is change in productive practices that involve farmer decision made after participating in the MTA process. There are 2 cases well documented. The first is changes showing data in the rice farmer in Córdoba, Colombia. We took the advice, avoided economic losses estimated in $3.6 million.
That's quite fascinating. And before I let you go, Diana, I would like for you to just in summary tell me how the technical agroclimatic committees work with women's groups and young people.
I love this question because youth participation in the agroclimatical committees and their engagement with the ICTs has very fascinated. They design the agroclimatical bulletins, create training spaces beyond the MTAs on topic of interest, and young people are essential part of agricultural innovation. Finally, to point out 2 interesting details, we have MTAs in Colombia in post-conflict territories, and the young soldiers attend the MTA's training in agroclimatology and then disseminated this information to the farmers in the remote areas. Brighton.
Thank you so much, Diana. I appreciate. Thank you for sharing all those insights about the amazing work that you do. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Brighton. Thank you, the audience.
Great. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you've continued to join us as we bring on interesting lessons from around the world. And right now, I am joined by Gordon Nikoi. And Gordon is the business development manager with Esoko. And Esoko is a social enterprise that connects over 1 million farmers to essential services such as weather forecast, agronomic advice, and market linkages over a range of channels, including SMS and call centers. Gordon is going to give a short presentation about Esoko and what it does for about 2 minutes, and then I'll be joined back with him to have him answer a couple of questions about the work that Esoko does. Thanks, Gordon, and take it up.
Thank you, Brighton, and thank you everyone for listening. Esoko simply stands for electronic market, and it started by providing market information for farmers in Ghana and in West Africa. Currently, we try to look at over time what is happening to bring about some change in the behavior of farmers. And Esoko managed to put up a program, which is a PPP program. So we try to bring out the meteorological services, AWare, Total Agriculture. These are all weather providers. So we pick weather information from these 3 sources. Mainly, Ghana Metro gives our seasonal forecast, which is very, very key to our activities that we have for farmers. We pick this information to get the seasonal forecast and tell farmers ahead how the season is going to look like. Then we also work with the researchers and then the MOFA, we brought them also together to look at the information that we are giving to the farmers. How relevant is that information? How good is that information being channeled to the farmers? And then we brought in all the mobile network operators. So getting information to the farmers will be easy. In fact, Isoko tries to take advantage of the mobile phone penetration. If you know, it's on record that Ghana, we are around 30 million people, and we have over 40 million mobile phone penetration. Literally meaning each person in Ghana has a mobile phone. So we believe if we can use the mobile phone, we want to be able to reach each and everybody in the farthest place of the country. So we try to take advantage of it. And when we get the information to that person, it looks more personal, because this one is not everybody hearing in a wholesale manner, but it's personal to you. And we try to give the seasonal forecast, we give the weekly forecast, and we give the nowcasting. So every day we pick the satellite data from Aware to tell the farmers exactly what is going to happen that day on their farms. So based on this program, this is what we do. So if you look at the diagram on the left-hand side, we pick the forecast, and then we give it to our researchers, our agri officers, to tell us, based on the forecast that we are going to have in the season, what are the various crops we can grow to meet that rainfall that season. So this is what we formulate into various messages, be it in the local language, be it in text, or be it in video. And then we disseminate this to the farmers, and then get feedback through our call center on how farmers are picking this information. In fact, the good thing of this is that this has been very, very, very successful and very, very, very sustainable, because each and every partner that we bring on board is making sure that he plays his part very well, and then we also share the revenue according to what you bring on board. This program started with only 1,000 farmers. We moved to 20,000 farmers, and now we can boast of over 300,000 farmers on the program, receiving weather information, receiving climate smart agriculture information, and receiving market prices on what they should do for their day-to-day activities on their farm. Thank you very much, Brighton.
Thank you so much. That was really, really insightful. And before I let you go, I would like for you to tell me more about how the public-private partnerships that you've brokered with different agencies have benefited most of your users and the farmers that you work with.
Yeah. Thank you very much. With this partnership, what I would say is the metro people are now being able to send their information to the person in the rural areas. The place that you cannot think of, that person is getting that information. So we are now making sure that the information that is being generated by our research institutions through our channel, it goes to the rural poor. One thing that you should know is, because we are using a mobile phone and we are using a voice message or a text message, or currently what we have added to our service is a video. So if you know you are having a smartphone, we put it in the form of a video and then send it to you so you can watch. For example, for the 4 army worm, which is currently hitting Ghana, we have videos on monitoring, on control, and then on prevention that we share with farmers to watch and do the right thing on their farms.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate, and it's very clear that the work you're doing is extremely impeccable and changing the lives of so many. I will also invite you to join me for a live Q&A, which is going to be the next segment of our interaction, but otherwise I appreciate that presentation.
Thank you very much.
And I'm inviting back all the speakers, and congratulations to all the speakers for having shared more about the work that you do. For those of you that are watching us right now, if you would like to ask a question, you will need to do so using the Wova app. Simply type your question into the app, and if you have not already accessed the app, you can do so by following the instructions that we've provided to you. I'll give you a brief moment to take down this information, and then we'll get right into the Q&A with our speakers. Thank you so much. And I believe you submitted your questions to our panel. And on the panel today, I've invited back all the speakers that I had the privilege of interviewing. Gordon, welcome. Diana and Moussa, thank you so much. And Steve, thank you for having provided the background. So I have a few questions, and the first one is, this question goes to Moussa. So can you give an example of how farmers have benefited from climate services in your work?
Yes, thank you very much. We do have some examples and testimonies of farmers. One of them is in the part of the Eastern Province. And thanks to the historical climate information that was provided through PICSA that we briefly talked about, they actually decided to change the way they are looking after their livestock, and some of them decided to sell some of the cows they had. The other part is related to its national level, where before the start of the season, we do have a national meeting that decide on the time when the season is going to start and when the official launch of the agricultural season is going to start, thanks to the Climate Service for Agriculture.
Thank you so much. There's another question to Gordon. Could you please explain how climate services help youth get excited and interested in farming?
Thank you very much. One thing is knowing when to plant, knowing when to fertilize, knowing when to harvest is very, very key to a farmer. All these things is what puts us in the forefront to look at what is the climate saying. As you and I know, when you are to fertilize and it's not going to rain, it's not advisable to fertilize. So we need to know the moisture which is coming in. Is it good for the farmer? And when that comes in and we get it right, look, the farmer is always happy. And when those farmers are happy, it translates back to us. But when they call us through our call center to tell us what is happening on their individual fields, you see them excited, you hear them excited, and you yourself also becomes excited. But you know you've put a smile on somebody's face in far away north.
Thank you. It's exciting, and I believe even most young people who are very technological savvy do find it very exciting to interact with technology to better inform farming decisions and agricultural decisions, as you described. I have a question for Diana, and this one says, why is it important to use participatory methods in climate services?
Thanks, Brighton. I think it's very important to understand all components of the climate services in a participatory way. For instance, MTA is an inclusive open space where everyone can participate, and they promote the open spaces, the participatory way. They include the farmers in a process, in a co-learning process is very important. For example, in the MTA in Colombia, the women create a climate change network based on they have learned in the participatory approach like MTAs or PICSA. And However, we need to pay more attention in the participatory process to the roles, responsibilities, and daily activities carried out by, for instance, women and men, because they have different needs and access and respond to climate information. And I think it's very important to rescue the participatory approach to empower the farmers and sustain the institutions in a climate service way.
Thank you so much. And I've one more question, and this could be taken up by anyone. It says, how can we engage with women and farmers in particular? Does anybody wants to share any insights? I believe, Diana, you are doing part of that work with youth and women.
Yes, Brighton, when I mentioned, yes, we have MTAs in Guatemala with working in the indigenous people and the women communities. Also, for instance, in Nicaragua, 25 women promoters meet women who are head of the household to share the agroclimatic information with them. And yes, I think it's very important to include how the women and the men access to the information is important, the two-way communication, and how the MTAs is a space for sharing knowledge, for sharing information, and I think it's very important. And in the MTAs is an inclusive space that disseminate information for these farmers.
Thank you so much. And I have one more question for Gordon.
I want to add something small on the women.
Oh yeah, sure, please go ahead.
Yeah, one thing that we notice is women are quick in adapting some technologies that they think is very beneficial to them. And weather information is one of them. I bet you women that we work with don't even use the weather for the farming activity. They use it in preparing meals for the house. You know, we have a simple food that we have here, we call the tize, that they dry the meal maize on the sun. So if they know it's going to rain, they will not go to even grind the maize to come and dry it. So they sometimes call us to ask us, what is the weather pattern for today? Is it going to rain? So we can do this. Others use it to go for funerals and all that. In view of this, we've managed to collect used phones from our colleagues and have given over 300 phones to women, mainly women, to make sure that they get the information at the right time so that they can make meaningful use of that information.
Yeah, that's very exciting. And on that note, I would like for you to comment on this question if you can. And of course, Moussa and Diana, you can equally contribute your thoughts. So are farmer advisories useful in this crisis period, especially regarding the COVID-19 pandemic?
It's 100% useful. I can bet you currently we are doing both COVID-19 education and farmer or climate smart agronomic education. Well, you see, if you lose the farmer, it means we have lost our food. That farmer needs to know what COVID-19 is, how it can prevent COVID-19, so that he can then go to the farm and then grow the crops for you and I to get some to eat. So yes, the advisory is very, very important for the farmer to know what to do and what not to do. And we are doing this with our farmers on our platform, giving them voice messages in their local language so they understand it better, to know what to do with COVID-19 and then know how to go ahead to produce food for you and I.
That's very, very exciting. And I understand time is not our best ally today. It's very exciting that we have so many insights from what you're doing on the ground. But I would like for you, perhaps, Moussa, you could comment on this, and Diana, have there been any measurable benefits or impact from climate services based on your work?
Yes, I can start. One of the key benefit in all of this is to ensure that climate service information is no longer a myth for a smallholder farmer. And variable like seasonal rainfall, total onset, cessation length, frequency of rain days, dry spells, those are variables that are now familiar to smallholder farmers. And because we know how smallholder farmers are vulnerable when it comes to climate change, then this is really crucial for them to have this information, and they've been empowered. Really, particularly in Rwanda, even though there are still a long way to go because the scale needs to be taken up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you, Moussa, and thank you, Gordon, for all your insights. Really, really appreciate, and may you please continue transforming the lives of farmers in your work, one farmer at a time. And thank you to those of you that joined us in this session. The next session is dubbed Implementing Policy and Institutional Changes that Enable Transformation, hosted from Ontario, Canada. Please stay tuned. This is going to start in the next 15 minutes. So stay glued to the screen, and really appreciate for having joined us during this session. Have a wonderful day, and remember to read more about the report which has been published and launched. Bye for now, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.